Welcome to this online event, and it's a part of Sheffield Chamber Music Festival 2021. Your generosity in the last year has made it possible for Music in the Round to continue to bring people closer to music. It is thanks to you, our friends, supporters and audiences that we are able to bring you a full festival programme this May. All events are free, but we are relying on your generosity to keep the festival going. After facing such a challenging time for so long, musicians need us more than ever. Any support that you give us makes a difference to them. Please donate as you feel. Every single gift makes a difference. Details are under the window that you're watching. So welcome to REEDS, RIZLA Papers and Water RAGS, a very appropriate title for a chat with our wind players of Ensemble 360. So I'm just going to introduce you to everyone by name, because I know a lot of you will know everybody, but I also know that maybe we have listeners who don't know you all. So maybe you can give us a wave as I introduce you. So we have Adrian Wilson on oboe. Woo! And Amy Harmon on and Juliet Balzone. Hello! And Matthew Hunt on clarinet. And last but not least, Naomi Aston on horn. Great, lovely to see you all, and I know most of you. I've not met all of you in person, but it's great to be with you this evening. So yeah, thank you for letting me ask you lots of questions. So first of all, I'd like to start by just asking you all in turn, just to tell us a little bit about you, a couple of key facts that you find interesting about your careers, and also, can we have an interesting fact about you or a hobby that you like, and just so we can get to know you. Let's start with Adrian.
I'm currently living 7 miles north of Glasgow in a little village called Mulgai, and I play principal oboe in the Royal Scottish National Orchestra as well as playing oboe in the ensemble. And today I've just come off recording Schumann 2. We played it through 3 times. And I have literally... I'm struggling to move my mouth.
It's better than number 4. 4's the one that I'm just like kind of at the end of it.
Yeah, I think they're all pretty
No, one's good. One's good.
Anyway, that's what I've been doing today. Fact. Oh, well, the fact is, Theo, my 7-year-old son, his tooth fell out at school today. So we've got the tooth fairy visiting tomorrow. That's
Oh, that's sweet. Do you still have cash in the house? I don't think I have any cash at all in the house.
Actually, that is a very good point.
Does he have like a card reader?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, card reader. Or bank transfer.
Modern tooth fairy, yeah.
Brilliant. You're going to be worrying about that now for the rest of the hour.
I have to think about that. I'm pretty sure I've probably got some old defunct currency somewhere, which I'll see if I can pawn off on my 7-year-old son.
But while you worry about that, let's jump to Amy.
So, I am currently principal bassoon of English National Opera, where I've been for about 5 years now. Before then, I was in the Philharmonia. And I've been in Ensemble 360 for 12 years. Can that be right? So I joined when I was 8, and it's been lovely. No, facts about me. I had a baby 6 months ago, got another one who's 2, and I've got very into making fancy coffee. That is my exciting new hobby.
Excellent. You're going to be a very popular person when the ensemble's back together fully in person.
I'm so into it. I could just make them all day, but yeah.
Fantastic. Juliet.
Hello. I'm principal flute in London Philharmonic Orchestra, and as well as playing with the ensemble. And I don't really have any fun facts about myself, except for that I like eating chocolate a lot.
What kind?
Yeah.
Actually, anything. I ate my daughter. She's 2. I ate her Easter eggs. I mean, I kind of figured it was better for her that way. Yeah.
I think that's quite a common thing with parents and Easter eggs. You're certainly not the only one.
He was very excited to kind of discover them in the garden, on the Easter egg hunt, and then they just sort of vanished. I don't know,
Have you found chocolate consumption has gone up? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. I mean, it's always been fairly high in this house, but I mean, yeah. During lockdown, there wasn't that much more to do, so I ate quite a lot of chocolate.
Lockdown.
The black concert wear is not going to be fitting us all well, is it, after lockdown? I just tried my black trousers on, so I just had to record something, and I can actually do them up, so that's going to be my most...
Elasticated waist, it's the only way forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to come to that. Right, Matthew.
Well, so chocolate consumption didn't go up during lockdown, but cheese consumption did. And I was reading today that there's a whole thing about betting on cheese futures because cheese consumption went up during lockdown, and they're expecting to go up again over the summer in barbecue season as people put it on burgers and stuff. But they think Bitcoin still might be a better bet, which is disappointing, I think. So I play in an orchestra in Germany, the Deutsche Kammerphilharmonie in Bremen, and I just started a new job, being a chamber music professor at the Folkwang Universität in when it's open. It's in lockdown at the moment.
Naomi, hi.
Hello. Yes, I think I prefer my facts. Most important thing for me at the moment is that we're in the middle of lambing. I've got I had 6 ewes that are in lamb, and how many? Four have done the thing, and so we have 7 lambs at the moment. But I'm still waiting for 2 girls, and it's driving me nuts. I have to check on them day and night. I've got a little lamb cam in my barn, and I check them, and just I wish they'd get on with it now because it's been a month from the start. So I'm a bit tired as well. It's not the same as you two having babies and things, but
It's much more exciting.
oh, they're very cute. They're very cute. Yeah.
You've
And I play Manchester Camerata and Northern Chamber Orchestra. But yeah, lambs.
That's all we need in life, isn't it? Lambs. There's lambs in the field at the back of my house as well. It's lovely. They were all skipping yesterday. I was very happy. Great. We should get to the music conversations, really. And when was the last time you were all together, playing together with 360?
Definitely before lockdown.
You two did a concert together recently, didn't you?
Did in Barnsley. We recorded
Atherton and Adrian, exactly.
Reineke.
We did Reineke Trio and some sonatas. That was lovely, and I did some we did some concerts with the strings, didn't we, quite recently, in Sheffield. But what was really sad is we were going to do a massive wind concert back in March 2020, which seems like a lifetime ago.
That was the week of lockdown, wasn't it? We were going to go up that week.
It was the week before lockdown.
Oh, was it the week before?
Because it was on the Monday that Boris said he advised people not to go to the theatre and concerts, but it didn't actually lock down. So yeah. But apparently we're going to be doing it in spring 22.
Oh, yeah, actually, that's so good. That's such good news.
Just to explain, it was going to be some big wind octet work.
It was going to have Beethoven in it.
Harmony music, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was going to be Beethoven octet, Beethoven sextet, and some Mozart arias.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to it in 2022, and I'll certainly be sending the students down from the university to that, because that's a fantastic programme. And that kind of leads me on to something that I wanted to talk to you all about, and that is wind chamber rep, because it's just such amazing repertoire, and often it gets left off programming, or the music clubs decide they're going to go for a string quartet or a voice and piano recital. And what's so special about the wind chamber rep for all of you?
As orchestral musicians, we sort of work as group, as a wind section within the orchestra. And it's really nice to be able to sort of step out of that and sort of shine as a section sort of more centre stage, I suppose. Right. And especially when you're playing works by the great composers who knew incredibly well how to write soloistically and in harmony, like Beethoven and Mozart. So yeah, I mean it's also great when we get to sort of invite our friends, because obviously we're sort of one of each instrument. So it's quite nice when we're doing larger scale stuff. We get to sort of invite our colleagues to come and make a bigger ensemble.
Yeah, I love the fact that with wind chamber music you can go from a simple duo to something really great like Mozart 13 Winds, and there's everything in between, and you've got the classical rep, and then you've got fantastic wind quintets as well. And what would your favourite works be within the wind chamber?
I mean, there are some standout pieces, I have to say, and I think it's hard not to pick Janacek Mlady, the two Mozart serenades and the big serenade, the sextet, especially, but the octet of Beethoven, and also the big works of Strauss. I think it begins to get kind of more, you begin to have a duck and dive a little bit more to find stuff after that. But there's so much stuff that's really fun, because the wind octet, the harmony, was the kind of the go-to ensemble to have if you had a nice big court and you needed to entertain your guests, and so you had it, and they could play very well outside, much better than string players, of course. And so there's a wealth of really kind of rather fun, slightly lighter music that I absolutely adore. I love all the wind octets of Hummel and Homer, and it's such a laugh playing them. It's so much fun. It's such a satisfying sound. It's great. Lots of great music there.
We enjoy playing the Ligeti as well, don't we? The quintet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was going to say Ligeti, and Nielsen Quintet's one of my favourite. I really enjoy playing that. I mean, I'm not in so much of the bigger. I'm not in all the the Mozarts and Beethovens. So it's I enjoy kind of when we get together as a quintet as well, and it's just a joy to play with you guys too. So.
It's the Gounod Petit Symphony.
Oh yeah, that's really
and
sweet.
The Strauss, you're in the Strauss.
The Strauss, yeah.
So we must do the Strauss. We've never done any of them.
We haven't
done. It would be so nice.
Yeah, and there's that Enescu dectet as well.
That's beautiful. The Enescu.
Have you ever played the Jean-Français dectet? The one, the sept danse après les malheurs de Sophie.
They're very, very cool. I did them in college and it was a hot mess, but it would be really nice to do them properly.
And then the deck, is it the dectet or is it quintet with piano as well? That's where the clarinet has to be like the pin-up girl in the middle movement.
Revue de cuisine? No, that's not revue de cuisine.
L'heure du Berger.
Yeah, I can see you in your nice dress and heels, Matt, for that one.
We've seen it. Yeah.
Typecasting, we've all seen it.
In fact, I get up on the piano for that one.
Fantastic. We'll definitely see if we can persuade Edward to programme that one in Sheffield. And then there's the quirky works as well. I love like Berio, Opus Number Zoo as well. That's always good fun.
Yeah. We've done that quite a lot, haven't we, actually?
I just had visions of us doing that as soon as you said that. Juliet in full voice.
There's great transcriptions as well when you get, transcriptions of like Peter and the Wolf as well. So it can be quite an educational setup as well, I think.
I think I love the variety of it. I love the fact that there are these amazing octets, and sextets, there are trios with piano. There's always a different combination for everything. And I like that. I like the fact that like any one combination doesn't have reams of programs of the great masterworks. But there you have to kind of look around and you have to find this gorgeous music that gets very often overlooked. And you find these things that are an absolute joy. One of the pieces that we found actually quite a long time ago, right at the beginning, was this quintet by André Caplet for four winds and piano, which is, I think, one of the most gorgeous things I know. There's some really amazing music there that it's wonderful to go down those rabbit holes and find them.
I mean, especially if you add a piano into the mix, I think it really sort of opens things up. We did a fantastic Martini sextet as well with two bassoons.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great piece.
And then you've got, of course, the Poulenc, which is just, I think, the pinnacle of the quintet plus piano rep, which is always a joy to do.
It's brilliant fun to play. Yeah.
It's nice that we can add other instruments as well. If Adrian can play the cor, or you've got the basset clarinet for Mozart, and when Juliet gets her piccolo out, biggest thing, it just adds that little variety, and it makes it more fun that way.
It adds variety to my life playing the piccolo too.
We might have to add something. I used to say that the only thing I ever played on the E-flat clarinet was the Janáček concertino, which is 3 winds, 3 strings, and it's a piano concerto really. And there's a movement where I have to be
Squirrel.
Squirrel. I'm not the hedgehog. I'm the squirrel in that one, and I love being that. But Amy has heard me essay another. What was that called? The quintet, the South American one.
Oh gosh. I can't remember.
Because I can't remember either. But we've got a good piece up our sleeve of South American dance. Have to play the E-flat clarinet, which is. I have to go on a kind of massive diet for weeks to try and make.
Yeah.
So
good.
What, Adrian?
You have to keep off the cheese then for a bit, I guess.
I know.
Not worth it.
Why do you think I do bass clarinet? I could have cheese and play bass. It's great. Great. We should talk about the upcoming Music in the Round Chamber Music Festival that's coming up in Sheffield, which is a great programme. What works are you playing in that you're really, really looking forward to?
We're going to do a Stravinsky septet, which we haven't played in years and years and years. Probably like 10 years ago, and I remember it being so much fun and mad, and I'm really looking forward to doing that.
We're also doing a nonette by Coleridge Taylor, which
I've
never played before. I'm really looking forward to that.
It's so beautiful. It's really gorgeous.
Yeah, I think Coleridge Taylor is just one composer who's really come to the fore over the past year or so, and his works are just stunningly beautiful. And we have quite a few of our singing students at Sheffield who are doing his songs, and it's just a gem of pieces.
His songs are amazing. I transcribed some of them for a recital I did a couple of weeks ago for Radio 3, and there was a set of 5, and I couldn't pick which one was the most perfect. They were all just absolute gems and so beautiful, and I've never heard them, and they've I think Liz Llewellyn's just recorded an album of them, but they're not sort of done for major labels, which is just crazy because they're so beautiful. So I look forward to everyone recording them and singing them and playing them.
That's so special.
I think it's always fascinating when there's a composer who's a one-hit wonder, and his Hiawatha was like such a massive hit and hugely popular, and then fell out of fashion. got being done.
But he died quite young, didn't he? Was he in his 30s or something?
On Croydon Station.
Oh no, poor thing.
What else have you got that you're really looking forward to?
So we're doing a live stream of the Oboe Quintets by Arnold Bax and Gerald Finzi. And they were both written for Leon Goossens. So they were written in the 1920s. So I think they're sort of both of them were sort of very early in that sort of literature. Obviously, a lot of British composers wrote pieces for oboe quartets subsequently. All of them pretty much writing for Leon Goossens, and then latterly wrote for Janet Craxton and Evelyn Barbarelli as well. But and then also the York Bone Sonata. That's another piece that was written for Leon Goossens. So the whole program is basically a Leon Goossens best. And the York Bone is an amazing sonata. I actually first picked this up when I was sort of 25 years ago. Frightening. For the BBC Young Musician competition. And what's incredible about it is that he was an unbelievable pianist, as well as a composer. And so the piano part gives Tim a massive workout. It's sort of, I think he might have been known as the English Rachmaninoff. Mm-hmm. So it's sort of glorious piano writing, but hugely romantic oboe writing as well. So it's a sort of genre that we don't have too much of that kind of piece. So it's a really great piece to get your teeth into.
He's such a stunning composer. There's a trio as well, isn't there, for oboe, horn and piano?
Yeah, which we must do. Yeah.
Matt, you have a really interesting concert as well, doing Bartok Contrast, which is another gem of the repertoire, bringing violin and piano into it.
Yeah, that's an amazing piece. We've actually recorded that concert already. We recorded that with a 360 degrees camera, which should be quite fun. I've not seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it. That's an amazing piece. I played it a lot, and just this wonderful commission from Benny Goodman. I mean, it's kind of extraordinary that Benny Goodman decided he was going to commission Bartok. And the fabulous violinist, the Hungarian violinist, Szigeti, who played a lot with Bartok, and they're amazing recordings of Szigeti and Bartok playing Beethoven sonatas and Bartok's own music together. And so they did it, and it's an incredible freedom of writing that takes all the Hungarian folk music as its base. All these like dances, all the rhythms, beginning with this recruiting dance, that has this kind of this very, very strong rhythm to it. Then going through this sort of relaxation movement, and the last movement, this fast dance, which is like real knees up, has in the middle of it this incredible it's a thing in I'm trying to remember what time it's in, but it goes da 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 da, and you end up kind of limping around the house when you're thinking about it, because trying to get it kind of into your head. But once you do, it's very nice. It's a wonderul piece to play. Amazing repertoire. I still think, even though Bartok is very well known, he is one of the underrated composers of the 20th century. I think it's all such amazing writing, and we don't appreciate it nearly enough.
How much have you all managed to keep playing with your orchestras over, the various lockdowns? Have you managed to do a lot of streaming or not?
We've been really busy in LPO. I mean, I think we've been kind of doing a sort of all recorded, obviously, and streamed, but kind of they've been putting on pretty regular work for us, which is amazing that they've been able to kind of provide that, and it's been lovely to play, but it's been a very funny year for everyone, hasn't it? So yeah, not quite the same.
Julia, I happened to hear that you just recorded Dvorak Cello Concerto with Mr. Islis,
Oh yeah.
who said that it was how you played it, how he'd always heard it in his head.
Oh,
He said it was amazing.
Wow.
I really, yeah, he's. I mean, obviously, he's amazing to play with, isn't he? He's gorgeous. So, yeah, that's a real joy. Yeah.
But, that's so good that you.
He doesn't give compliments very readily.
No.
Well, very nice.
It's really nice as well to hear that, you know, musicians have managed to keep playing and the orchestras have managed to keep going, because I don't think everybody, you know, in the general public realizes what we've been doing or what we haven't been doing. That's nice. Naomi, what have you been doing over the past year?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty similar things, really, just recording things for streaming. But what I was thinking was that I've missed audiences, because it's just not the same. You're in an environment where it's quite tense, because you're recording something that will be going out online, and you don't know how long it's going to be staying there. But it's not, and that feel is not the same as playing in a concert, where you just can be free and go for it. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. But it doesn't matter, because you've just sort of given it your heart. It feels much more contained when you're recording things for streaming somehow. So I miss that. I just can't wait to just go and do a concert.
I was actually thinking earlier today about playing in the studio in the round with Ensemble 316, being surrounded by the audience. And because I was, you know, just thinking about how special it is, that, you know, and missing the vibe that we always talk about, and particularly around festival time, but just generally in there. And I think it's because, you know, the audience, you're all in it together. It's like this occasion, and, you know, there might be, you know, the odd bum note or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's the adrenaline. We're all kind of soaking up this really magic, special kind of moment in time. And yeah, I just can't wait for that to come back.
Well, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. We should be back playing in the autumn season to audiences in the Crucible. So
can't wait.
You kind of miss the inspiration of others as well. You know, I think when you go back in, you just sort of, your ears are just getting this beautiful sound from everyone else.
It's really overwhelming, isn't it, to hear it again?
Just to talk as well with like your colleagues and your friends, and, you know, have a bit of a laugh and a joke as well. It's really good.
I mean, I don't know how everyone else has been working, but when we've been in, we've had to all be 2 meters apart from each other, and initially in lockdown, it was even 3 meters apart in the wind and brass sections. And it's such a different way of making music. You know, I just miss that sort of, as Juliet was talking about, the closeness of the audience, but also the closeness of other musicians. You know, it's changed so much in terms of balance and how your sound works with other instruments and stuff. It's been really interesting to work that out. And I'm almost slightly fearful as to when we go back to our sort of normal working, how that's going to feel. It's something, because whenever I see an orchestra now on a YouTube video or whatever, everyone looks so close to each other. It's really strange. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that works out.
Matt and I did a Wigmore in, I think it was July last year, where we had to be 3 meters apart, and I was like in the fire escape of the concert. It's just like absolutely nowhere near the stage.
You had about 3 meters of pregnancy in front of you anyway.
It's true. It was probably wise. No one could get anywhere near me.
What advice would you give to students who, you know, haven't been able to play in big spaces for a year and haven't got the experience we have, and who also are kind of dealing with performance anxiety coming back, because it's quite a big thing for, you know, a university or a conservatoire student to go back and play on a big stage. And certainly a lot of my students are struggling with that, and struggling to not play with a backing track but play with a live pianist, for example. What advice would you give to young people?
Yeah, I find it difficult to give advice on that, because I found it difficult last summer. I didn't play until July, And then actually it was a bit like somebody turned a tap on full. I was fairly busy the whole time. But I would have said it took me a good 6 weeks or something to like walk onto stage, and not walk onto stage kind of having anxiety that I couldn't play, or I'd lost that just being ready to do it. But I think in terms of advice to students, I would say that more than anything now is to try and visualize everything and to think about it. Because I know for me, the more time I spend inside my head, like imagining what it's going to be like, imagining what I want to hear, thinking about the music, and not necessarily practicing with my clarinet, but actually kind of practicing with just the music in front of me and thinking about how I want it to sound, how I want it to be, and literally how it's going to be walking into that room, and how I'm going to kind of own that room, and how I'm going to fill it with sound, and having all those fantasies. And I think that's the most powerful tool that I have against sort of walking in and going, what happens if I can't do it? Is that I've kind of practiced thinking about it, and practice, and almost practice sometimes feeling a bit nervous about it, or maybe not nervous, but practiced feeding off the excitement of it.
I went on a fear of flying course, ironically quite soon before lockdown. I'm never going to fly again, so didn't have spent the money on that. But and a lot of the things about the anxiety of flying really can translate to performing. And there was a thing that we had to visualize, like Matt said, very strong visualizations at the end of the flight, that it's landed and you're really happy and you're trotting off on your holiday / exhausting orchestra tour. And I think now that actually you can visualize the end of your performance, and you have been brilliant and you are delighted and you have adrenaline and the audience have glowing faces. And if you put yourself there rather than put yourself, oh God, how am I going to feel right in the middle of the performance? It's a much easier thing to focus on, I think.
Wanted kind of as a wrap-up question to ask you what you've all kind of discovered about yourselves and about music during lockdown, and maybe a positive, because I think we can all look on the negatives. You know, we've all had careers that have been, you know, temporarily decimated, and you know, we've not had our audiences. But I think I've learned quite a lot about myself as a player during lockdown, and you know, had the chance to kind of revisit what I do and look at what I want to do. So what positives can you bring out of the last year as we start to open up again?
I mean, I've been able to spend a lot of time with my family and kids, which has just been sort of felt a little bit like it's the sabbatical that I've never been able to take. So it has felt positive in that sense, because I think it's made me realize that, you know, time is precious. It is very precious, and it seems to get more and more precious as you go through life. And it's given me a chance to not put my playing on the back burner, but just sort of let life sort of surround what I do as a musician, and that's got to filter in, you know, because I think we often get very caught up in, you know, our lives can be incredibly busy, and you're sort of motoring from one project to the next, and there's almost not time to breathe sometimes. So I think I felt like it's been nice to sort of have other aspects of life coming in and being able to accept them and sort of have time for them, and not be stressed about, you know, being in the right place at the right time, with the right read and the right music and everything else. So that's been really nice for me. And I think also it's made me realize how much I love what I do, because it's often only when you suddenly don't have it and the opportunity to do what you do that you realize the incredible value. You know, and that whole thing of talking about missing the audience. I mean, in some ways you take an audience for granted, but my goodness, this period has made us, I think probably all of us, realize how intensely important it is to sort of, you know, as musicians, we feel like we need to feed as well as feeding others, and having that is a sort of two-way thing. And I think that's become really clear in the last 18 months. And it's just made me feel even more hungry for when audiences can finally get back in and to experience the crackle of the atmosphere and the anticipation of a live concert. So yeah, I'm sort of still hanging on to hope that it's going to happen sooner rather than later.
It's great to even see the audiences go back in Sheffield for the snooker as well.
Right.
Yeah, we have audiences back in Sheffield. That's really special because Sheffield has just been so quiet, and going in to teach at the university, it's just dead, and it's really sad. And I think audiences will come back, and I think we can really look forward to that. And I know my students are kind of desperate to go to concerts and get out in the city again. Amy, it must have been a great time for you to have a baby as well, and have
hilarious. It was. I think I was 13 weeks pregnant when lockdown was announced, and I just gone into work and said I'm pregnant, and then it's like, and see you in a year, everybody. So I just sort of had a baby in secret, and now we're back at work, and I've had a maternity leave, but so has everyone else. No one's been there for a year. And it was actually a really great time because I didn't get FOMO. I'm terrible for FOMO, as Matt will tell you. And I didn't have to go on Facebook and see all the gigs that everyone was doing that I wish I was doing. I got to actually really relax into it and take lots of time before I had the baby to relax and be at home. And also it turns out I love evenings. I didn't know because I'm never usually at home for them, but just having dinner that I've made myself and going to bed at 9 p.m. Who knew? It's delightful. And I've enjoyed that because I know that it will never happen again, basically. But yeah, like Adrian said, it's just reaffirmed to me that I absolutely love my job and we're so lucky to do what we do. But it also confirmed to me that I need other people and an audience. I'm not one of these people who gets a great kick out of practicing on my own for 5 hours a day when I've not got anything that is a goal. I actually found it quite sad that I sort of did a bit of it and actually just got a bit depressed, and I think I need interaction.
Actually, one of the positives for me has been that I've developed a piano duo, and I've been practicing the piano lots, and Jamie Walton and I have been learning the 2 piano repertoire, and that has been really fun. Really.
Oh no,
fun.
I've been given the sack. We used to do that.
No, we're 4 hands. We're 4 hands.
Oh, okay, fine.
2 pianos.
Okay, you've not lost your job, Amy. Brilliant. And it must have been great to spend time with your sheep.
Yes, and also I was just following on from what Matt said. I actually last November made my bugle debut, so I had an audience. I for the first time ever I played my dad's bugle and did in Edel for the remembrance service. I did the last post, and it was just amazing. And my dad. I worked it out. He was given it when he was 7, so it was a war bugle, and I got to play the last post on it, and it was amazing, and it went really well as well. So because I had an audience.
My God, did you dress up as a soldier?
No, that would be you, Matt.
I'd be dressed up as a soldier, yeah, exactly.
I think there's lots of ideas coming out for future concerts over this conversation. Maybe some new commissions as well. Brilliant. It's been really, really lovely to talk to you all. I'm really, really looking forward to you being back in Sheffield, and I'm going to definitely watch a lot of this festival, but I'm just looking forward to being in an audience again, as well as hopefully playing some gigs. So a huge thank you, and hope to see you in person next time, and we can have beer and wine and cheese and chocolate as well.
Sounds amazing. Can't wait.
Great, thank you all.
Thank you.
Bye bye.